And yes, I positioned my sunflowers to be in view because they're really cute. I'm a fan of them. Okay. Hello, Internet. Welcome to another episode of what I like to call Cooking with Cari. Today we are going to make black beans and rice with my noodles and some tofu because usually there's a poultry that goes with that dish, but remember, I'm vegan, so we're going to fry up some tofu. Today while I cook, ignore my little bullet points that I wrote for myself because if you noticed in the last video, my ADHD was showing and I could not keep on track. So I made bullet points for myself today just to make sure that, you know, I keep a clear mind, clear focus while I'm cooking. So today I wanted to talk about my new mommy anxiety. I don't know if this is new mommy anxiety or just mommy anxiety in general. Again, if you experience this, please let me know. Put it in the comments so I don't feel alone. I'm also working on saying like and a lot, so bear with me. While I talk about that, I'm going to be chopping up some onion, green and red bell pepper that will be going into my black beans because, you know, texture, flavor, all the things. Also, yes, I did move this into view because I went and got flowers yesterday at Publix. Well, I went to go get groceries, but I saw that these flowers were $4 and I love them so much, so they are in my kitchen. They just make you feel like spring. I love it. I love it, I love it. Alright, but anyway, so back to what I was saying. See, this is why I have my little bullet points. Keep on track. Like I was saying, new mommy anxiety. So we're gonna start off strong and then work our way. We're gonna start off with intrusive thoughts. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I have all the intrusive thoughts. Like, I'm just gonna put a disclaimer at the beginning of this because it's gonna get kind of sad, like a little bit. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put it at the beginning so we can rush past it. I don't know if this happens to any of the other mothers out there, but I literally get like the craziest intrusive thoughts. Like, I remember when I first brought him home, and even still now sometimes when I carry him, like my mind will play like this horrid image of me like dropping him or like falling on top of him, and then somehow he ends up, you know, like it was terrible. Like I would literally like cry out of nowhere. And then my boyfriend would be like, oh, what's wrong? And like, how do you explain, like, oh, I'm crying because I dropped my baby, but the baby never fell. So again, with more making me feel like a crazy person. Yeah. So anybody experienced anything like that, let me know. Also, I get the thoughts that like, terrified of leaving him alone. He never leaves my sight. Another thought I have is whenever I'm like carrying something heavy, or if I have like a knife in my hand, if I'm ever cooking, he is like I make sure I can see him, of course, but he will always be like kind of distanced because I'm terrified of like dropping a knife on him. Or if I'm frying something, which sadly I fry a lot. I do a lot of frying. I'm not very proud of it. I try to be healthy about it. But yeah, so like if I'm frying something, I don't want like the oil to splash him. I'm terrified of like You know how the oil splashed? I'm terrified of him getting burnt. So there's that. You name it, I've thought about it and probably cried about it. I'm gonna have to do another episode about motherhood being a mental illness, because this is seriously though, there's a lot. And also, I don't know if anyone else feels this, but I am genuinely terrified of leaving my child alone. Like, I leave him with his dad sometimes. He's one of the few people I trust with the baby, of course, because, you know, that's his dad or whatever. But if he doesn't answer the phone, like, when I leave him, I'm been known to let words spew from my mouth that are not very nice or kind. I'm sorry to say. And that's how I am if I leave him with anyone. My mom, those are pretty much the only people I've left him with out of sight. My boyfriend, a lot like me, is kind of a loner. We do not have our phones on us most of the time. So we tend to miss calls. But there's that. I'm genuinely terrified of leaving him out of my sight. I get super anxious about it. Like, every bad thing that could possibly happen will happen if I'm not in contact with him or if I cannot see him. A recent example of this is during Easter. So, you know, of course, Easter, you get together with family, things like that. I'm not gonna go into my religious beliefs. I'll save that for another day. But anyway, so we went to my boyfriend's family for Easter. Well, we did my family, then my boyfriend's family, but we went to my boyfriend's family for Easter. This is where it's part of the story. It was their first time being introduced to baby Justin. I was one of those people who was like, you know, first few months, I'm not really trying to have him passed around by everyone. For the first 2 months, I think my mom and my dad were the only people who like came by. But anyway, so we went to his family's house, and it was their first time meeting the baby, so they were all super excited, which, you know, of course, he's adorable. Like, I was excited to meet him. But that's not the point. So everybody wanted to pass him around and give him like all the hugs and kisses, which that also gave me anxiety, because I'm like, don't put your face that close to my baby, thank you. So yeah, I'm the daughter-in-law, people don't like it much, but that's not the point. There was like one moment where I was walking around with the baby, and I went to go find my boyfriend, who was getting his hair cut by his cousin because he wants to be a barber. He was practicing. That's not part of the story. But anyway, so my boyfriend wanted to hold the baby, so I let him hold the baby and introduce him to family members that he wanted to, because I was close with his cousin Shauna, and I was hanging out with her. And I went back outside. Like, I think like probably a minute had passed, no more than a minute, because anytime he's out of my sight, I feel like just there's like a tension in my heart, like it's being clenched. Yeah, that's really how I feel. But anyway, there's like a tension in my it's like being clenched, and so like it had to be less than a minute. So I went back out and I was like, where's my baby? Because he no longer had the baby. And he was like, oh, I just gave him to his other cousin, whose name I do not remember. I'm so sorry. But I don't remember their name, and my heart sank. So anyway, I tried to put on a brave face. I really did. Like, I put on the bravest face I could. But if you know me, my face does not lie. This is where my emotions sit. Right here. So I tried to put on a brave face, but he could definitely see in my face that I was like, you did what? And so he was like, she just went right inside. She was gonna give him to you. So I went back inside, because there was two ways to get in. There was like the entryway and then like the way through the garage. And he was like in the garage, and I guess she went to the front door. So I went back to the garage door to like meet her in the living room. So that's what I did. And then she was like literally right there, and I was just like, sigh of relief. My eyes are on him. I know he's safe. But that was just like, I don't want to relive that again. But again, if anyone else goes through anything like that, can you please like let me know that I'm not crazy? Because my boyfriend thinks I'm a psychopath. Anyway, moving. Another mommy anxiety that I have. Oh, you guys like my silicone bags? And thank you. I'm sorry. Anyway, so pause. So another anxiety I tend to have would be, and I know this is like a long ways away, but when he starts school. Now, I live in America, Florida. I'm not gonna tell you exactly where, so just know I live in Florida. So, my anxiety, when he starts school, which is a long ways away, but it's something that has just been playing in the back of my mind. Also daycare, which is why I'm home. This plot ties into the whole I don't trust anybody with my kid. I don't trust my kid out of my sight, and this could probably have something to do with it. I am genuinely terrified of sending my kid to school or to daycare and him not coming back home. If you know, you know. If you live anywhere in America, you know what I'm talking about. And sorry for the long pause, but it hurts my soul. Like, genuinely, it hurts my soul. I am not able to close this, and I don't know why, but it genuinely hurts my soul. Like, I don't, and I know, okay, so I know that a lot of people don't really have a choice in the matter. Like, you can't just choose to not send your kid to school. Like, you know, if you have to work, things like that. And I am thankful that I am fortunate enough to stay home. I am currently peeling the plantains. I call them plátanos, but I know, like, in America, they're plantains. Peeling the plantains so that I can chop them up to get them ready for frying. But anyway, if you live in America, you know what I'm saying. Like, you probably get it, you probably understand it. And for those of us who are not fortunate enough to be able to stay home with our kids, it's terrifying. It's genuinely terrifying. I can tell you. My kid's not even old enough to go to school yet, and that's already like one of the first things on my mind is I have to homeschool him. I can't send him to school, and like, even if you do, you go to the schools, you look around, you meet the teachers, you feel out the vibe. That's not enough. That's not enough. So it's one of those things. I will be homeschooling him because I'm scared to send him away. Point blank period. I'm scared to send him to school. Genuinely terrified to send him to school. Same thing with daycare. You hear horror stories galore about daycares. There was one where a lady went to go pick up her kid, and she was late, but they literally turned the lights off, locked the door, and left her 2-year-old at the daycare. Somebody would have had to fight me. I'm sorry. Run them. Let's go. Because who does that? Like, who does that? I don't know. And I understand, like, they don't pay daycare workers enough. Honestly, they don't, because I thought about it. I have teaching experience, like, I have a whole degree, okay? And I was afraid of leaving him alone, but then also, like, I need to work in order to feed and provide for us. And I went to go apply for a daycare, and honestly, they make $0. Basically, they basically make zero. They paid worse than teachers, and we all know teachers don't get paid that well. So they get paid like literally nothing. And my boyfriend was like, it's honestly cheaper because we only have one car. So he was like, honestly, it'd be cheaper and more efficient for you to just stay home. And that's how I ended up just staying home. Yeah. But I understand it is hard. And for those of us who don't have the choice to stay home or go to work, and we have to go to work, and you have to leave your kid in school or daycare, if you are feeling the anxiety, I am so sorry, because my kid's not even in the school or daycare, and I am, the thought sends my heart into like, I start getting like palpitations. It's awful. There's that. And in other countries, they leave their kids outside in strollers and go to the mall and everything's fine and dandy and wonderful there. Why can't America be the same? You know? Other kids, their kids go to schools and get siestas and hour-long lunches. Our kids may be unalived. On top of the shitty education that we give them. Yay, America. I digress. So, there's that. But, you know, I don't want to get too much into that, because if you know, you know. If you don't, if you have kids and you don't experience these anxieties, please tell me what you do. What is your daily routine? What is your regimen? What kind of affirmations do you say to yourself in the morning? I would like to know, because I need help. I need help. And I should probably be going to therapy for these things, but I can't afford that. You know what I can't afford? To record myself. I can afford that. So the internet, any therapists out there, help me. Please help me. So another thing is that I wanted to talk about was proper development. Now, I don't know if you guys seen the last video, but I am an avid reader and I do read with my baby. He is, again, 3 months old. Now I will say this. He's 3 months old and he started watching TV. Sometimes if he's like sleeping or nursing, I would like, you know, go on my phone, or I'll put something on the TV to watch, like just, you know, because you're just sitting there. You can't really move. And recently he's like started watching my phone and also the TV, which I don't think I'm that big of a fan of. So I've been, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. He scooted. His first little scoot, he's almost crawling. Okay. Sorry. Milestone. I got excited. Completely threw me off. I gotta go back to my little bullet points. Hold on, guys. Oh yeah, making sure he's properly developed. So that's where I was. All right, so that's where I was. Proper development. Now, the pediatrician did give me like this sheet of paper with the ranges of months and the things he should be doing within those ranges, like how the babbles should sound, you know, what his movement should like, you know, lifting his head, crawling, scooting, walking. So I've been like going by that, but okay, hold on. And you know, I have the sheet that the doctor gave me of, you know, the milestones he should be hitting between each month. I think all the way up to like 2 years old. So I've been like trying to keep track with that. but sometimes it's a little bit off. Like he's like hitting the marks, or he's hitting marks from the next few months, like which like yay, but then also like sometimes he's not hitting those marks. So I'm not 100% sure. Also, I am doing English and Spanish with my baby, so she said that his speech may be a little bit delayed because of, you know, him trying to understand and gather both languages. So we'll see how that works. I'll let you guys know in the future. But I'm very worried about his development. Like that's a source of anxiety for me. I don't want to do too much and like overwhelm him, and then also I don't want to do too little. Like I want to make sure that I give him like the most knowledge possible. Now, I am a previous teacher. I did teach back in the days. It wasn't that long ago. But I did teach, so I feel like I have some sort of like knowledge and a little bit of an upper hand in that department. But then again, I never taught a baby. Like I wasn't doing preschool. The youngest I did was first grade. So that's like 7, 8 years old. By then, they pretty much know words. They can kind of read. There may be some delayed readers. I did work with exceptional students, is what they call them. The kids who need a little extra help. I did a little bit of that, but I did that in middle school. So I think it was 6th and 7th grade. I worked with the emotional behavior disorder children. So like I kind of have an idea, but I think sometimes I feel like I do too much. Like we've been learning our ABCs in Spanish, but he's only 3 months. And my sister calls me a crazy person for it. Cause like I was telling her, like, you know, we're reading the Chronicles of Narnia, and she's like, that's doing too much. Like that's a whole chapter book. And yes, it would be like on a 1st or 2nd grade reading level. But I figure like, you know, introducing him to language early so that he has a really good concept of language. And then, I don't know. Am I doing too much? Someone please tell me. If I am, I'll dial it back. I'm not ashamed. I'll dial it back. But if not, then I'm gonna continue. And you know what? I think it's good. I think reading is good and listening to stories is good. We have Spanish books. We read in Spanish. There's like a podcast on Spotify where they tell popular children's stories in Spanish. Like they have like The Little Red Hen, Aladdin, The Tortoise and the Hare, things like that in Spanish. And I love it. It's one of our like morning podcasts. So we have a schedule. So we wake up, we do a feeding, and then he kind of drifts back into a little bit of a nap. And then once he wakes up again, we eat and we do tummy time. And while he's on tummy time, I will either play beach waves with piano sound, like piano music, or we will do the Spanish Story podcast, which is nice because the lady who does the podcast, her voice is super soothing. It's great for morning time. Like, it's really nice. So I really like that. And, you know, I'll light an incense. And, you know, I'll start my little morning cleanup routine. He's pretty chill in the mornings. So he'll be in tummy time for like maybe 3 minutes before he gets like super fussy about it. And then I kind of like let him fuss it out just a tad. Like I don't let him go into a full-blown belt, but I let him, you know, like kind of just, you know, I'm getting sick of this. I'm tired. Hey, come pick me up. And he's learned how to roll himself over, so when he gets too tired on his tummy, he will literally roll himself over. And I kind of like that because, you know, it's like he's solving his own problems already. It's super cute. If that's not okay, a child psychologist, please let me know. Be like, you traumatizing your child. I'll stop. We do that in the mornings. Eat again. You know, and then we'll do a little, you know, I'll talk to him or whatever. And then he usually kind of drifts off into his mid-morning nap. He tries to fight it, but he falls asleep. And then he'll sleep for maybe an hour. And then he'll wake up, he'll eat again. and then that's the afternoonish time. So he'll eat, I'll let him sit in the bouncer and watch me do some things until he gets fussy and bored, and then we go for our walk. And when we come back, he usually eats again. We do a little bit more tummy time, and that's when we do our Spanish videos. Our Spanish videos and or reading. Sometimes both, depending on, like how awake he is, or if he's like done with tummy time, or if the videos are getting repetitive and annoying, then we'll move into reading. Same thing in the morning, like if he usually doesn't drift off into his morning nap, we'll do some reading. We'll finish a chapter or a half of a chapter. He usually won't sit still for a whole entire chapter, but that's fine. He's only 3 months. So we'll do our Spanish videos, and it does like head, shoulders, knees, and toes in Spanish. There's like a dancing song, about your body. There's a cleaning song. There's a Buenos Dias song. All that fun stuff. So we listen to that. If you guys want the link to that, I'll also put it in the bio. So yeah, there's that. And then usually around this time, so then I'll feed him again. We may do a little tummy time, and then he usually takes a nap while I cook. Sometimes he doesn't nap the whole entire time that I'm cooking, but I try to get as much done while he's sleeping as possible. We eat again. We probably won't do another tummy time because by then he's literally over it. He's like over the tummy time. Like he's not a fan. But he's so strong. Like he can lift his head up and roll and all the fun things. But by the time when he wakes up, we'll be done with tummy time. So he'll watch me cook and I'll talk to him and I'll dance for him. We may put some music on, English or Spanish. Sometimes, we put a little salsa. We put some 90s hip hop. Just depends on whatever mood we're in. And we'll do that. And then Dad gets home. We hang out with him, eat a few times, and then he usually goes to sleep, and then, the night routine, whatever. But there's that. If that is too much, someone please let me know. I've also been reading, I haven't been reading yet, but I purchased a book called Montessori Toddler. If that is a good recommendation, let me know, because I saw it on TikTok a lot, and I was like, I'm going to take a peek at that one. Also, The Full Brain Child. I bought that one too. If anyone has already read these books, let me know. Let me know how it is. I haven't read them yet, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just very curious about his development. Sometimes I think I'm doing too much. Sometimes I don't think I'm doing enough. I don't know. I just told you what I do, so if I'm crazy, tell me. If not, then whoop, whoop, go me. So that's pretty much the gist of that. Scared that I'm doing too much. That's pretty much all of my anxieties about him per se. I'm probably leaving some things out, but I don't know. I get in front of the camera and low key I be forgetting everything, literally everything. I'll be like, I want to talk about this, and this, and then you guys get here and it's my talking points. So if you guys want me to elaborate on anything I've said already, let me know. Or if you think I forgot something, if you have a different anxiety, let's talk about it. Let's chit chat. Be my mommy friends, please. I need those. But another anxiety that, I've been experiencing, this is not about the baby. I'm focusing on me now. Look at that. Look at me being selfish. But anyway, so another anxiety that I tend to have is for myself. Okay, and I know you guys are gonna be like, you look great. Don't talk about yourself that way. I have not lost my baby fat yet. So I have been very self-conscious with my whole body image, and I know I'm not fat or anything, but I am used to being very small, very petite, flat tummy, My boobs were never this big. Like this is how I used to look, more or less. Less booty too. Less booty. Less booty. Yeah, I would have less of these things. You know, like all in here. So like now that I have a lot of it, I'm like, oh, I do not look like how I used to look. So that's been kind of not fun. I've been trying to do, you know, like the workouts, and I do the stretches, I do the yoga. This will not go away. And my friend Natalie, as much as I love her, this bitch, sorry, she had the baby 2 days. She's on Instagram. 1 week postpartum. Just flat. Going on mile hikes. I was like, I just now was able to start walking for real. Going on mile hikes, her belly's all flat, and I'm sitting here like struggling to go up the block and back. And I digress. Anyway, that's my anxiety. And you know, and I'm learning, or I'm trying to learn to appreciate every part of me, but that's hard. It's hard when you don't look like yourself anymore. And if there's anybody else out there who can agree, or tell me to see a therapist, or if there's a therapist out there who can help, but I'm slowly learning to accept myself for all of this. I do like the booty though. I would like to keep that. I've always wanted a butt, so I got one now. So that's the only thing I would like to keep. I would like to keep the booty. The boobs, I want my old boobs back. These things, I'm done with them. This little pooch, this little kangaroo pouch I got going on here, I'm done with it. And everyone keeps telling me, oh, just give it a few months, it'll go away. Liars. I don't think I will ever be the same again. But that's okay. Yep. It's okay. Because I'm still beautiful. I'm still hot. I still got it. Yeah. At least this is what I'm going to tell myself. Anyway, that's what I tell myself in the mirror. I was looking at myself, so I was telling myself, you know, you look good. You got it. You go. That's how I hype myself up. So, you know, you can use that if you want, or not. So I've already chopped up my plantains, and now I am heating up some oil so that I can put the onions and peppers in it. There we go. Sizzling. I like to try and keep my work very clean, so sorry, I was hiding. Y'all didn't see that. Y'all did not see that. But I'm just gonna let that cook down until the peppers and the onions are soft. Then I'm gonna add a couple of seasonings, some onion powder, garlic powder, adobo, and paprika are my usuals that go into the beans. Also a little turmeric, only because, you know, it's good for you. And it kind of gets mashed into the rest of the seasonings. Tastes really good though. So we'll get all of those put in there once that cooks down a bit. I'm cooking a little fast. Alright, so that is. This is my tofu that I've been letting drain all day. So I know most people like drain it, like they wrap it in paper towel and they squish it between two plates. I find it easier to just poke a bunch of holes in this and then just kind of set it like that. And then I'll do that like at the beginning of the day, like around 11 if I know I'm gonna cook like around 5 or 6. You know, just give it a few hours. It drains itself. Then I'll make a little seasoning for that. But I will fry that after I do the plantains because that'll screw up the oil. I also love the smell of onions and peppers like together cooking. It warms my heart. So I'm just gonna grab my seasonings. Adobo, onion powder, garlic powder, I think I'm gonna put also some oregano in there. You know what? I'm also gonna throw in some cayenne pepper just to give it a little bit of a kick. Turmeric, paprika. Alright, this is usually the pan I use for frying. I am in the market for new pots and pans. I've discovered that the non-stick stuff is trash. Yeah, so if you don't know about the non-stick pans, go look that up. And I know this is an Alfredo jar, but it's a really awesome mason jar. And this is where I put like, you know, unused oil, coffee, all the fun stuff. So that was some oil that I used so things like make French fries the other night because we had burgers. Which were bum diggity. I gotta make that on one of these episodes because they were really good. So we are going to put the oil on like a medium. Yeah. Sizzling, sizzling. But anyway, so there's that. I'm gonna start adding my seasoning. And I just give a generous heaping. I never use measurements unless I'm following a recipe, but this meal doesn't really require a recipe, and you just, you know, season to your liking. If you like plain beans, use plain seasonings. If you like flavorful beans, use all them things, you know? This is what I like in my beans. Make your beans how you make your beans. That's all I got to say about that one. I got the seasonings in there. I'm gonna let that get all over all of that. I'm gonna take my beans, drain them, and then I'm gonna let that cook on like literally a simmer. I like to let my beans soak. You know what I mean? If you didn't know I lived in Florida, you can tell by all the Publix brand items. Also, for those places that don't have a Publix, I'm so sorry. Alright, oh, I'm still recording. I thought I stopped it. Alright, so now I'm just gonna stir. I definitely made too many beans in this tiny little pot. But it is what it is. It's still gonna cook. They'll still be good. They'll still be good. I just might make a mess. Ooh, the old ready. Alright, so now I'm just gonna plop these in the oil. I'm not trying to do too many at a time, making sure there's only like, you know, like just a couple of them in there. Do one more plop. Cause I ain't scared. Like Bone Crusher, I ain't never scared. If you don't know who that is, you're too young to be here. Bye. So yeah, frying the plantains. Okay, so while I'm waiting for these to be ready to flip, I'm gonna clean my station. I have a trash can here. I'm not just throwing things on the floor. Ooh, babies, wait. One moment. Okay. Someone woke up. This is the baby chest. Also, someone told me, are 3-month-olds supposed to be this big? Like, I feel like he's pretty large for 3 months. But, you know. I don't know. I never had a baby before. These is cooking. These is cooking. I got my beans. My beans are simmering. Okay, so this is what we were doing next. We are going to make our seasoned flour for this guy. Okay, seems to be pretty good and pressed. Gives me the sign that it's ready to go. Oh my gosh, man, if you guys could smell this, it smells so good. Like, bro, it smells so delicious. I decided to go all the way through because in the last episode, like, I finished cooking and like no one got to see how amazing it was. I ended up just going with the green beans, and my fish fry eggplant was banging. It looked beautiful. It looked so good. It's gone, so I can't even show you guys now. But I'll tell you this, it was so good that my boyfriend was trying to sell it. He was like, if we could put this with a side, we could sell it. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. My cooking career ended with Wendy's when I was 16 years old. I'm just gonna thinly slice the tofu. And, you know, I can use the same knife for everything, okay? I can use the same knife for everything. I won't get any, like, poisons. I'm only using fruits and veggies. Yeah. Best thing about being vegan, I can use one utensil across the board, the same cutting board, because why? It's all fruits and vegetables. There's no meat. Who's gonna get sick? Not us. We not. No salmonella up in this house. We can also eat cookie dough without worrying about that either. Yeah. I'll make cookies one of these days. I'm sitting here bragging about how good my food is and I'm burning stuff. All right. Do not comment on the amount of garlic in there. Okay, I do not need to comment on how black my maduros look. Keep it to yourself. Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna take some flour, season the flour with all the things, kind of like how you would make like a fried or a baked chicken, but I'm gonna use tofu, and I will come back with the finished product.